Okay.
I said, Governor, I might be late. I'm going to be with the senator.
She'll understand. I get her all her money. Okay. Everyone ready? We're trying to do it quick.
Really quick, yep. Go in here.
Great. We all set?
Yes.
Great. Let's see. All right. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be back in Western New York. I want to thank our mayor, who we'll hear from shortly, our police commissioner, Joseph Gramalia, deputy commissioners Wright and Kent, and chief of investigative services Macy. We also have,
Corporation Counsel, Cadet Chambers.
and do we have Lauren Washington or Jenna Herring here? Come on up, ladies. These are two victims. Well, we have a third. Oh, no, two. Good. Okay, thank you. All right, well, so why are we here? I want to thank everybody for coming. We're here to discuss a really disturbing issue that's putting car owners in Buffalo and across Western New York in serious danger and in a great deal of anxiety and nervousness. Kia and Hyundai cars are being stolen at record rates here in Buffalo and in Rochester and in upstate New York. Why? Because of a safety defect that spread like wildfire in a viral TikTok challenge. All you had to do was put something on TikTok on how to steal these cars, and they started getting stolen left and right. This year alone, listen to this, this year it is the end of February, and over 350 Kias and Hyundais have been stolen in Buffalo. Let me repeat, 350 cars stolen in Buffalo in just the past 2 months. If you figure it out, let's just say an average of 30 days a month, that's 60 days. That's, let's see, 60 days, that's close to 6 a day here in Buffalo and Western New York. Let me put that in perspective for you. In all, this is just Buffalo, not just Western New York, where there are more. In Buffalo, in all of 2022, 400 Kias and Hyundais were stolen. And this year, in January and February, it's almost that many, 350. So we need to put the brakes on this disturbing trend, and I am calling for a two-pronged approach to get this problem from getting any worse and to finally arresting it. First, I'm calling on the two car companies, Kia and Hyundai, to take action right now, to provide support to owners of these cars. When people bought these cars, they had no idea that they were so prone. What are the two steps they should take? First, they need to provide free anti-theft kits, including steering wheel locks, to all affected owners. And second, they need to develop ASAP a universal software fix that solves this issue for every owner of an at-risk Kia or Hyundai. Not just some of them. If there's a gap, hire the programmers, figure out the solution, and distribute it. Don't put this on the back of the owners, Kia. Don't put this on the back of the owners, Hyundai. It's on your back. You made the mistake. My mother always taught me, you make a mess, you got to clean it up. Well, these two car companies made a big mess, and they have to clean it up. So that's one approach, one prong. Second, I'm calling on the federal cop on the beat, the National Highway Transportation Safety Agency, to investigate how this predictable and avoidable safety defect was allowed to proceed and make formal recommendations as to what can be done to fix the problem and what can be done in the future to prevent a repeat of this unacceptable situation. For those who aren't familiar, let me give you a little background. Stealing these cars is so easy because of a safety defect in certain models of Kia and Hyundai car models, since they lack what is called an engine immobilizer. Most cars have it. 10 years, I believe it is, of these cars didn't have it. Now, this is made worse by this viral TikTok challenge showing how cars can be hot-wired and stolen with something as simple as this USB charger cord. All you need is that, a simple phone charger, And you go on TikTok and they can tell you how to steal one of these cars. Is that outrageous? And it's on the car companies' backs. It's a horrifying trend. People, and often young kids, are the ones who use TikTok the most. They're going around breaking into these cars, sometimes checking cars one by one, sometimes crews getting together and getting a bunch and running off with multiple cars in one night. In Buffalo, we've seen the kids taking these cars on joyrides, causing severe damage, and tragically here in Buffalo, resulting in the loss of life of 4 youth, and I know the mayor is going to address that. No mistake like this, caused by something as simple as this, should ever end in death. No parent should have to bury their child because of this. So this isn't just a matter of theft, it's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of total safety. In Rochester, where the same thing is happening, we've even seen these cars become a favorite for criminals as getaway cars. They do a robbery, they use one of these, they steal a Kia, they steal a Hyundai, and they get away with it. A gunman drove one of these vehicles near a Rochester high school just recently. You know, we all know that car theft is a big problem, and that's bothersome enough. Every one of us has experienced car theft. I certainly have. You wake up in the morning, you're ready to go to work, and you see your car gone, or so parts of it ripped out so you can't use it. It's the most frustrating, angering thing. But this is making it much worse. So enough is enough. As I said, I've already written to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, telling them to look into this issue, to get answers, get on top of the companies. These cars have been on the road for years. I want to know why it took them so long to address this. This is happening before this TikTok viral challenge. Why did they let this happen? They had to have known about it, and the federal agencies will get to the bottom and exact the appropriate punishment. And let me reiterate again, for Kia, for Hyundai, exactly what they need to do to fix this issue for our upstate communities. I want the companies to hear me loud and clear. They should be offering free installation of aftermarket security kits to all dealerships, so you can just drive your car in and within a very short period of time, get it fixed. They should have enough personnel and enough software you don't have to wait 2 days and have your car sit there. This is their fault. It shouldn't be on the consumer's back. So consumers are often faced with wait times from weeks to months. That shouldn't happen here. This wasn't anyone's fault but the car companies, because they didn't install something that should have been in the car. Jenna Herring, who's here with us today, already had a steering wheel lock, came out to her house to go to the gym in the morning just to be met with broken glass and an empty driveway. And now, because this problem is so rampant, she's stuck waiting for parts to fix the back order. That shouldn't be. Kia and Hyundai need to make any and all updates free of charge to all car owners ASAP. They know how to fix it. They just got to do it, and they can't put it at the bottom of the list. The sheer idea that consumers would be expected to pay for these car repairs themselves when the car was designed with this safety defect, while other manufacturers make nearly every one of their cars with an engine immobilizer, is absurd. Let me make that point again. This is not true in most cars. Most cars have the engine immobilizer, but they took it out, cut costs. I don't know why the heck they took it out, but it's led to the damage we have here. So let me ask Kia, let me ask Hyundai directly. What are you doing to take the burden off of our local law enforcement? What does your rollout plan look like for the new software fixes? And will you commit to implementing the fix in greatly affected areas such as Buffalo and Rochester first? I've asked these questions in a letter to them and to the NTSB. This is the agency that has jurisdiction over these agencies, and they can find the daylights out of them. And I would expect they do that, especially if they don't cooperate. Okay, I think I've basically said what I'm going to say. Let me see if I have anything else. Bottom line, Kia, Hyundai, can't keep letting criminals on TikTok ride off into the sunset with innocent Buffalonians' cars. It's time for the companies to step up and make this right, once and for all, ASAP. And I know the mayor has another stop to make, so I'm going to call him. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about storm relief too, because I know that's very important, but I think, should I do that now or wait till, what do you guys want to do? You want me to do that separately after this? Yeah, okay, so we'll let the mayor speak.
Thank you,
and then we'll do
Senator.
that.
Thank you very much, Senator Schumer. Thank you for being here again with us today in the city of Buffalo. And thank you for addressing the safety defect with Kia's and Hyundai's certain models. This has been a problem here in Buffalo, and as the senator said, across the state, but also across the nation. When these two brands of vehicle, Kia and Hyundai, stop putting engine immobilizers in their vehicles. These vehicles have been stolen for criminal purposes, and again, with this TikTok challenge, young people are taking them just to meet the challenge, to joyride in these vehicles, not necessarily with any criminal intent, but that's what it comes down to. They've stolen a car because they saw how to do it on TikTok, and because of this safety defect, it has become all too easy to take certain models of Kia and Hyundai. It's put a lot of pressure on the Buffalo Police Department having to respond to the thefts of these vehicles. And between last year at this time to this year, thefts of Kia and Hyundai automobiles have increased by more than 2,000%. From last year to this year, thefts of these vehicles have increased by more than 2,000%. As Senator Schumer said, last year we had 4 young people from our community lose their lives in a Kia that they took having learned how to do it on TikTok. Certainly very painful for this community. And what was the response of Kia? They wanted to put the responsibility on police departments across our region and across our state to install locks on the vehicles when it was their responsibility. And we told Kia that it was absolutely irresponsible on their part to ask police agencies to fix their safety defect when they made the decision to stop installing engine immobilizers on their vehicles. Again, for the parents and families of those 4 young people that lost their lives last year, our thoughts and prayers and hearts go out to you. Senator Schumer, we thank you for bringing the strength of the federal government into this circumstance to help fix this problem that Kia and Hyundai have a responsibility to fix. Thank you very much,
you,
Senator.
Mayor. All right, let's hear from our 2 victims here, and then is the chief, is Commissioner?
Yep.
Commissioner first, then the 2 victims, then I'll talk about the storm, then we'll take questions. The mayor may have to leave.
So, Senator, I really appreciate the fact that you're coming here to Buffalo Police Headquarters to announce this and to hold them accountable. We've been asking for assistance in this and to have the federal government be able to come here and actually put pressure on these companies. We started to see the change in our Kia thefts back in August of 22, and they jumped exponentially. We had a more than twice increase month after month until January, where we had a substantial higher increase than that. 2,270% increase compared to last year of Kias, and 2,667% increase on Hyundai stolen compared to last year. That's accounting for about almost 3/4 of our stolen cars this year alone. It's a monumental task. These individuals are stealing these cars. They're not just joyriding in them, they're also using them to further violent crime. They're using them to commit further property crimes. We are seeing Kias and Hyundai stolen at the rate of a dozen a night at times. This is a significant problem. I spoke with Kia USA back in November, and their response that this is a local crime problem. This is not a local crime problem. This is a national crime problem based on defective or ineffective equipment in their cars. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed right away. So again, Senator, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. This is a significant help to us in the cause.
Right, and I mentioned what happened to Ms. Herring. Do you want to say a few words, Ms. Herring? Thank you.
Could you, spell your name?
Spell it?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Jenna Haring, Jennaharing. My Kia Sportage was stolen back in December. It was a Tuesday night. I got up to go to the gym and it wasn't there. It was found later that day. I'm not sure where. I didn't ask, which I regret. But, and my parents and I both had to leave work to go to the impound lot to take a look at it, and it was just completely destroyed inside. The car was caked in mud. It looked like they took it off-roading. The inside of the car was caked in mud. They left ash and, you know, remnants of their blunts in my car. They left orange juice in my car, and it made me feel completely violated. My journal was in my car, and, you know, they took it out of the center console and it was opened, and they stole some sunglasses, they stole my phone charger, and it's just been a disaster. I was luckily able to break my lease, and now I have to pay about $100 more a month for a different car, just for the peace of mind that it's not going to get stolen. So I hope this is able to be resolved soon, and I hope Kia steps up and takes responsibility.
You should be reimbursed for everything, including the $100 a month.
I think so too, and I was expected to pay my car payment for the 2 months that my car was sitting in the shop, so, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
It's a touching story. And another victim of this is Lauren Washington.
Hello, my name is Lauren Washington, Lauren, Washington. On February 10th, in the early morning of, I would say, 6 a.m., which is about the time I go to the gym in the morning, is when I discovered that my car was stolen due to the glass being on the ground from my passenger side. I would say fortunately, I was able to get some footage in the front door of my home to see exactly what was happening, and I was able to see the crime in live in color about 10:52 p.m. And from there, I filed a police report, and a couple of hours later, another officer contacted me and said they found my car and that it was going to be towed to the Buffalo impound lot, which I discovered all of the damage and personal items that were stolen from my vehicle. I was really sad that my car was stolen because just recently I was able to get it and get it under my own name, and now I have to continue to pay for the car and continue to pay for my insurance, and my rental agreement with my insurance is almost up for 20 days, and now I have to figure out how I'm going to continue to get around, get to work, while my car is getting fixed in the shop, which is they told me a few weeks. So now I'm just in limbo until I can get this resolved.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you very much. These are both touching stories. They did nothing wrong. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the storm and then do questions on both, or do you want me to do questions on this and then the storm? Whichever is better for you. Okay, so let me talk about the storm. So on Friday, the state submitted its disaster declaration relief, its request for disaster declaration relief. It took a while because they wanted to scour the whole state and get as high a number as possible. And now they have submitted it, and I'm very hopeful that we can get the major disaster declaration relief we need. Buffalo's already been granted from the storm emergency relief, but that only goes to $5 million, and that's much more limited in what is the relief. If you get major relief, lots of money can flow to the city and the surrounding communities for damage to the roads, to buildings, to all kinds of things. It involves help for small business, which would be part of a major disaster relief, and many other things. In addition, I have lobbied the president 3 times, including on Air Force One just recently when he came to New York, to make sure that we get our disaster relief, and then to include snow removal as part of it as well. We may meet the numbers without snow removal costs, but snow removal was a huge cost. This storm was snow, more snow than we have ever seen. And not allowing snow removal to be counted as part of the reimbursement would be like saying you're not allowing wind damage in a hurricane relief. Makes no sense. So 2 things. I've talked to the president 3 times, the White House staff many times, to get us the major disaster relief, which would mean millions and millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions, many more would flow to Buffalo, Western New York, and the communities were hurt. And second, I've asked for the first time they include snow removal in this relief. As I said, we may make the threshold even without snow removal, but we should be allowed to be reimbursed for snow removal costs as well. Okay? Now I'll take questions on either subject to any of us.
With the Kia situation, I know that there is a group of teenagers that identify themselves as people who tend to do this, especially on social media. With all of these thefts, do we believe that everyone is being a target of these groups of these teenagers, or is it random kids who are...
I think it's some of each. Some are in groups and some are random kids. All you have to do is be alone, go on TikTok, and they say, just take this and here's how to do it, which is outrageous that TikTok would put that on to begin with, but they do. They are not really regulated at all. Do you want to add to that, Chief?
No, I think you actually hit it right on the head.
It's some of each.
Question for the commissioner. A majority of these thefts, like I said, are from juveniles, and they have very little consequences for doing so. Should we look at, harsher consequences for juveniles, and is this, for non-juveniles, another reason to look at bail reform law?
So, bail reform absolutely comes into play when we're dealing with this. It's you make an arrest, it's an appearance ticket. I've talked on this many, many times, that they have to be released. The other issue is we are seeing a number of juveniles that are involved in this. When I say juveniles, under the age of 18, which falls under the raise the age section. Again, they get released to their parents, they go to family court. We never hear what happens to them again. We track the amount of people that get arrested multiple times for stolen cars. It is a problem, and we're only catching, a small percentage of those that are stealing these cars because they're catching them and dumping them so fast. And in many instances, before they even wake up in the morning, the car is already stolen and it's dumped, and it's gone already. So yeah, there's a couple of challenges on both sides of that.
Yes.
I have 2 quick questions. Should TikTok be held accountable at all for allowing this content to continue without, moderation or repercussion? And I'd also love to hear a bit more about the challenge of investigating all of these crimes that are happening at such a high rate.
Okay.
You want to start, sir?
You may as well do that one, and I'll do the first.
The second part, the challenge, it's beyond a challenge. We can't keep up. We just can't do it. You get into processing a car. We don't have the resources to process every car, but you're also dealing again with young people who their DNA or prints are not going to be in the system, and there comes with great expense. Unfortunately, it's a lower level property crime that's of significant annoyance to those that own these vehicles. As the senator said, I've had a car stolen, when I was younger. It's a pain. And your first question was again, the social media. I'll just jump in real quick on that. They're absolutely, we've seen this in this community going back to May 14th. We just saw it again last week where we had a homicide committed that was put out on Facebook, and numerous requests by this police department, the FBI, the DA's office, one of the local media outlets, all appealed to Facebook to have that heinous video taken down, and our response was that it does not meet the criteria to be taken down. That's a problem with social media companies that need to accept responsibility for what content they are providing on there and allowing to stay.
Let me answer that as well. There is something called Section 230, which exempts all the social media companies from any liability, no matter what's on there. We are giving a very serious look to re-examining 230 because what's happening is outrageous. Okay? Folks, I'm going to have to head to D.C., so I appreciate everybody being here, and thank our victims particularly, and we're gonna get on this through the federal authorities and go after these two car companies that are so derelict.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Senator.
everybody.
Really appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you, folks.
We'll get the
Thank
date
you,
out to
everybody.
everybody.
Can we get the victims up there real quick?
Yeah, and we'll send the date out that we have that was spoken on today to everybody.
One of you guys had a steering wheel lock, is that correct?
I had one.
Can you talk about, so you actually had a steering wheel lock installed on your car?
Yeah, just one of the ones you take on and off every time you get in the car. But I was told,
Excuse me 1 second. I apologize, I gotta get to DC, we're running late, so thank you all. Appreciate it.
when the police came in the morning to, take my statement and create the report, they said it is a deterrent, but if they are determined, whatever they bring to break the window, they can easily, bend the steering wheel lock and take it off, so.
Like both of you Buffalo residents?
Yes,
And which one has the Kia and which one has the Hyundai?
we both have Kias, I
Both have
think.
Kias.
Kia Sportages, yeah.
Why don't you just talk about what it feels like, I mean, it's a huge financial burden for someone to have a 5 or 6 hour joyride, that you guys are gonna suffer for months, without a car, extra burden, financial burden. Can you both kind of talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's terrible, first of all, because Kias, they lease out really well for people our age, college students, young professionals, and for a nice car. So then for this to happen, you have the financial responsibility of paying for a rental car when insurance can't pay for it anymore, or paying to get a new car, or paying for damages and repairs. So it's a big financial burden, and I'm lucky enough to have parents that were able to help me out through all of it. But, I feel for people who aren't that lucky, because this could really, put a burden on your finances.
You wanna answer that?
Oh, yes.
Step up a little bit.
Oh. Hello. Yes, I believe that I shouldn't have to bear the financial burden of a malfunction or a flaw in the manufacturing on Kia's end. I don't even look for accountability for TikTok. I want the company themselves to come forward and have some accountability to its consumers and say, yeah, we gave you guys a defective security system in your cars, and we shorted you of what we should have gave you in the first place. So I hope that they reimburse us for damages, for car rentals. It's just a lot, especially on a single person who has to now cover these big expenses now.
What's it been like dealing with Kia so far?
The only time I've reached out to them, I asked if I was expected to pay my car payment, and they didn't have much to say other than, yes, you are. And I know Kia hasn't done or said much publicly about, all of the car thefts, and I think they're kind of sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah, I ran.
First off, I just want to say, I'm sorry you're going through this. I also had my Kia broken into and almost stolen, and it's such a difficult experience. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit more about also the decision-making issue after that happens to you, because now you're stuck with a car that could be stolen again. What goes through your mind in that decision-making process? I know you leased a different car. I mean, what has that been like in that decision-making?
There were a couple things, I was thinking, do I want to pay, is it worth the $100 more to pay for a different car that's not going to get stolen? But, I've heard stories of people who got their Kias back and, 1 or 2 days later, it got stolen again. And, these kids who are stealing the Kias, I don't think they care. They're not thinking about the Kia drivers as people. They just want to joyride in your car. And they have they have their own TikTok and Instagram page too. It's the 716 Kia Boys, and they post everything on there, just videos of them joyriding, and multiple Kias sitting in a parking lot, and they're all stolen, so.
Anything else? No? Thank you.
Mine was in December.
Yeah. About 2 weeks ago.
Coming in.
Thank you.
All right, sorry you had to be here.
Alan, is this ours? The mic?